today there's a lot of materials, and so I'm going to run over real fast. If you have any questions, I suggest that you take notes, and then at the round table, you can ask any random questions you like. But since my material has so much that I would like to stick to the material, and no Q&A in this session. All right, move forward. Next page. Yes. Okay, briefly my background. So I got my master's degree in computer science from Stanford, also statistics. And then I work as a software engineer, and then in management. So my whole life, I've been doing software engineering. All right, next. Oh, I retired 3 years ago. I decided I had made enough money. My husband disagreed. Who cares about him anyway? Okay. So today, there are 3 subjects I want to talk about. I want to talk about layoffs because there's so many layoffs happening, and a lot of people who are impacted feel terrible, and I really feel you because I was impacted once. And I learned from my lessons, and I want to share with you all about layoffs, and then to help you minimize your chance of being the target or being laid off, or if you should get impacted, how do you get back up? And so that's what I want to talk about. And if you get laid off, job hunting strategies, like how to write a good resume and how to search for jobs and so on and so forth. But the most important thing I want to cover, that's the first time I work on the subject, is networking. Because in my past, I never had to network with anybody, I just get my job. So somebody would ask me, Ginger, please come work for us. And so that was not my forte. But then Katie said, please share with everybody. So I went and did a lot of research, and I found a very good story that I really want to share, and I hope to share that you find it useful. Next, layoff. Next. Okay, why do companies do layoff? Obviously, so you can read. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. You can go ahead and read the reasons why most people, those are not the only reasons, but those are main reasons why companies do layoff. But I want you to focus on last sentence. So a lot of these things are outside your control. You can do a very good job and still get laid off. All right? So if you get laid off, just don't think that's the end of the world and like something you did wrong. Not necessarily. It may, but not necessarily. And I don't want people here to lose confidence and not knowing how to move forward. The most important thing is pick yourself up and learn from the lessons and use it as a good motivation for you to do even better in the future. Next. How would you be impacted? What that means is that so I've been through layoff 5 times. I was asked to identify whom to lay off. And that's actually even harder than getting laid off. Suddenly you have to make a decision. So these are the things we use, the criteria we use for figuring out who gets laid off. And everybody thinks if you get laid off, it's definitely your job performance. No, that's not necessarily true. Low is one reason, okay? It could be product direction change, could be, like for example, right now lots of companies let people go because they want to get the resource and move it to targeted investing in AI focus, machine learning, the future direction. So if you happen to be in the department that is not making much money for the company, well, that's the reason, okay? So that's that. These are the criteria. And the most important thing is in red. It could be a blessing in disguise, okay? You can lead to a better job opportunities. And I personally, that happens to me. And in Chinese saying, sorry for people who don't understand Chinese, but I want to say, 塞翁失马焉知非福. All right? For me, I thought it was the end of the world, but it opened a brand new chapter for me. So, and I want everybody to take it positively, learn from it, and make the best out of it. Next. How to prepare. So this one I want to spend a little bit more time. So the key is to be always prepared. And what do you mean by always prepared? Okay? So you really need to possess marketable skill set. So for example, if right now the market trend is AI machine learning and you know nothing about it, and if you look at the job openings, that's where skill sets are required. Well, they need to figure a way out to obtain the skill set, such as going to classes, or ask to work on a project that has to do with it. And I tell you what happened to me. I spent my entire first, however many years life, I can't count, in telecommunication. So at our age, we call phone calls, right? And when internet hit, and then the entire telecom market collapsed. And that's why I was impacted. And I luckily found a job at Yahoo. I had very strong connection there. And Yahoo is like, what do I do with you? You don't know anything about internet, okay? But because I got very strong reference, and then I also had good education background, I got hired. But guess what? They take 30% off of my paycheck, okay? But the way I think about it is, someone is paying me to learn something new. Wow, that's amazing. That's my attitude. And then I learned all the marketable skill set, and I know that I'm in a safe position. So for you, it's the same thing. If you're in the industry for so long, and the industry trend has changed, but you don't know anything about what's going on, it's dangerous. So I suggest people here, every 2 years, look at the job market, and look at the job qualification, and look at the skill set that are in demand. And then reflect back to yourself and say, do I own the current market skill set? Am I in danger if I'm laid off? Would I be able to find a job? My job skill set would be required. So number one is very important. And number two, be the go-to person. Just make sure that you are like the superstar. So if not the whole team is whacked, you actually have a chance to stay. And build a good network. So when I say build a good relationship with coworkers and boss, it doesn't mean you go become their slaves and do whatever your boss asks you to do or your coworkers ask you to do. But just to make sure you build a good reputation, your work speaks for yourself, and they will recognize you and recommend you in the future. Okay, we'll talk about more later. And most importantly, set aside emergency funds. So in my case, 2002 bubble burst, both me and my husband were laid off. And we have a mortgage, and I have 2 kids. One is 5, one is 7. And it was very devastating, but luckily, we had 2 years worth of fund. Okay, but we both got a job in a month or 2 because whatever reason that was. But anyway, make sure you have emergency funds set aside. Then keep your resume up to date. So what that means is that you have a resume, you find your first job. I would suggest that whenever you accomplish at big projects, you don't necessarily have to go update your resume, but you can use also LinkedIn or some other place to keep track of the major project you did. And so that later on, if you should write a resume, you don't have to think about, gosh, what did I do last 3 years, right? So everything, you have a record, and you can quickly whip it up. Obviously, watch out for a product and company, and the company started to lay off, you gotta watch out for potential. I tell you, one of my sons recently told me last year, the company had 2 layoffs, one in July, one in November. Immediately, I said, go get your resume ready. This is not looking good. Go do a research. And he listened to my advice. He quickly found a job in January. In February, when he was about to check out, 3rd layoff happened. Okay, and so that's what I'm saying. You really need to pay attention to what's going on around you. Next. Okay, that's about layoff. There's so much I want to talk about. Job hunting strategies. Okay, next. What's a job hunting strategy? The first thing you need to have what? Is to have a good resume, right? And once you have a good resume, hopefully you get interviews. And then the next step is, how do you pass interview? And a lot of people here, especially in the Asian community, we don't necessarily fail at the technical interview, we fail at the behavior interview because we don't know how to answer the questions the right way and how it's being perceived. We'll talk about that. And then we talk about how do you apply, and if you have a sponsorship requirement, how do you go about answering the questions and so on. And then, so that's job hunting strategy. So the first thing I want to talk about resume is everybody tell me that I would say 99.9% of the resume that I helped change was 1 page. Okay? And that is wrong. Okay? It's not about number of pages. It's about contents. It's about keywords. Okay? If you limit yourself to 1 page, you can very potentially cut the wrong information out, and you are missing the opportunity. So at my time, when I was applying, it's postal mail. Human reads resumes, well, guess what? We cannot read more than a page. It's too difficult. But we're in the internet stage. We have search. Well, guess what? How do recruiters find your resume? They pay money to LinkedIn or some other places, and what they do, they enter keywords of the job qualification, right? You need Python, you need Java, you need marketing, whatever the heck in the job rec. And then venture resume will serve up, right? Well, those resumes with the most keyword match and appear many times will be the ones that serve to the top. And you guys all have experience searching on Google, Amazon, wherever. Well, guess what? The result can be thousands of pages, but usually we find our answer in the top 2 pages. Okay? So you don't want your resume to be stacked at the bottom because you have missing keywords, because you're limiting your resume to be 1 page. Okay? That is not cool. So make sure, and people say, what's a keyword? I tell you what, if you go to the job rec you're interested in, it would have qualification. And the qualification would have keywords that they're looking for. The skill set I need, the skill set I need. Then you look at your resume. Do you have those keywords on your resumes? Are they covered and are they described in multiple places? And many places, wherever you can do, that's a different session later on. If you're interested, I help hundreds of people change their resume. And a lot of people couldn't get a single phone call in 3, 6 months, 1 year. After I helped them change their resume in 1 week, they got phone calls, they got interviewed. And recently, I just saw an email this morning, a kid that I just helped last week, he changed his resume, he'd been searching for 8 months, and guess what? He sent me an email today and said, hey, I got a job interview opportunity. So resume matters. And then when you write the resume, please don't give me bullets. I did this, I did that, I did this. It's so freaking boring. And I cannot make any connections. So resume should be telling a story. You should say what the heck in each experience or academic projects, the same thing. It should say what the heck you do there. What is your job responsibility? What are your key responsibilities? Then you should talk about a few major accomplishments you did and talk about impact you made. Oh, I saved the company $2 million with this effort. And the last thing you need to talk about how and why. So you can say, oh, we use AWS platform and we wrote this in Python and we use Tableau, whatever the heck that. Those are keywords. That's where you can put it, and a lot of keywords to get hit on the resume. Okay? So remember what, so what, and how. Another thing is people who are looking for a job. If you sit in front of the computer and then just type in search all day long, you'll get crazy. You'll have mental health problems. So I tell people, go out, volunteer, and initiate, do something that is relevant to your job opportunity. Even go work for an unpaid job to get the relevant skill set. So again, you can put relevant keywords on your resume. All right? So don't just sit there and do nothing by applying job. Keep growing, keep learning. Yeah? And don't say things that are not relevant, like I like ski, who cares? Okay? Seriously, don't use that kind of space to write something. And some people do that because they don't have enough to say. And because they don't know what else to say. So if you have something to say something relevant to impress people about your skill set. Okay? Not something not relevant. And I want to talk about volunteer or initiative, right? I tell you what happened. If you're doing the minimum and you're doing it well, that's the minimum requirement. Okay, you're doing what you are required to do and you do it well. You got to be able to show you're doing something more that's relevant to what you do. For example, my younger son, in his resume, he put down during high school, he was looking for internship. He self-learned Android platform, wrote a mobile app to help Eagle Scout to organize their work, and it has 2,000 downloads. Now, this is not required by school, and it's relevant to computer science, right? So, or he attended a lot of hackathons when he was at school. So that is all showing you're going on your way to improve your skill sets, and that would impress a hiring manager. Next, all right, searching strategy. So somebody told me they haven't found a job for 3 months, and I said, oh, how many did you apply? And 2 a day. You give me a break. 2 a day. Okay, minimum 10 a day. And then you go, well, there are not too many jobs out there. Well, look harder. Okay, and you can reapply after a certain number of times. So you gotta apply more than just 2 a day. And then, so I want to talk about need sponsorship. So a lot of people ask me, people who need sponsorship, in the job application, it will ask you, do you need sponsorship? The moment you enter yes, you will be eliminated. Why? Because there are so many people out there. Why do I need to hire somebody that I need to apply sponsorship for them, right? So you should answer no. And then they go, but I'm lying. I said who? If you're in what, STEM program, you have 3 years, right? So if you interview and they ask you again, do you need sponsorship, right? Well, you said, but I say no. I said, why do you say no? Just say that not immediately, okay? You say, I can legally work for 3 years with no trouble. And obviously, if in the future you find that I'm worth keeping and I find you, I like the company, we can, if you will consider giving me sponsorship, I really appreciate it. But no, I'm here to learn and grow. 3 years is good, okay? And here people jump ship 1 or 2 years. So if you can stay a company for 3 years, that's very good. And guess what? After you're on board, you can keep looking. And when you keep looking, now you say, I need sponsorship. Right? You guys get it? Yes. Oh, good. During with that silence, I'm like, am I too deep? Okay, so be strategic, okay? And I'm not, excuse me, I didn't ask you to lie. I just asked you to say it in a skillful way. Yeah? You didn't lie, right? None of those I said, you didn't lie. Continuous learning. I cannot focus enough on continuous learning. Volunteer, so that I already talked about it. When you're searching, don't just search. Do something to improve your skill set, all right? Either you take class or you go volunteer on paid jobs that are relevant and so on. And another thing is, people say this requires 2 years experience, but I'm fresh grad. Go ahead and apply, who cares? I always tell people this, if you don't try, your chance of getting it is 0. If you try, your chance of getting it is greater and equal to 0. Can still be 0, but you never know, all right? But it's, oh, I don't think they know. Oh, I don't. So, you're chasing after a girlfriend or some guys you're interested in. What's the worst you get? Rejection, right? Who cares? You try, okay? That's the spirit. Well, that's what my husband used anyway. I told him I have a boyfriend. He said, are you married? I said, no. Are you engaged? I said, no. It's a fair competition. I failed to see any problem. Seriously, it's true. I didn't make it up. I was in shock. Somebody is really holy and pee. Okay. So the key is, if you don't have an exact match, you can still try. But you can say they're looking for somebody 20 years and you apply, because this is too much, right? So just something similar. Oh, they need 5 years, you have 2 years. Go ahead, try. They need 15 and you have 2. Don't. Yeah? Use your common sense. Next. See, this is a verbal ordering. It's faster than my hitting it. Advancing the page. Job application. Okay, so it's very important you set up a good personal profile. Usually people do it on LinkedIn. You have different websites you want. I'm not promoting for LinkedIn, but I'm just stating the most common. I tell you what, one of my sons got calls from recruiters to go join a fancy company, and he got an interview and got a job. Okay, so even sitting there doing nothing, because you have a very good profile, it catches recruiters' attention. It's also a good way to go about it, okay? Job openings, there are all kinds of individual company, website, okay, you all know about it. And meeting most qualifications, we talked about it. Stay organized. Okay, this is very important. Some people stay, some people apply and forget what he applied to. Okay, that's very bad. So when you apply for a job, stay organized, get a Excel spreadsheet of some sort, and record all the jobs that you have applied. and then you follow up. And then somebody say they're going to call you in a week, well, at least you can follow up in a week. So you can record it. So don't just like apply and you don't know what the hell happened. Next, interview tips. So don't fail on the most basic things on your domain. Your domain knowledge, let's say you are engineers and you're a fresh grad. And if I ask you questions about what's the difference, what are the searching algorithm there is, what's the difference in B-tree and hashing, and you can't answer that, that's very bad because that's very basic, okay? So anything in your domain that's basic, don't fail on those. Shame on you if you do. Get prepared. And another thing, during interview, you know, we Asians are so shy. Do you have any questions? No, no. I tell you, that's bad, bad, okay? You know why? Because when you say you don't have questions, it means a few things. Either you're not paying attention, okay? Or you don't know what the heck is going on, and you're not prepared, all right? So you've got to be able to ask questions. Now you can prepare, so don't go there and ask questions. What is the biggest advantage of your company? That sounds so standard, it's not decent, okay? The best question is, during the conversation, you take mental notes and say, oh, I want to come back and ask that question. So you will impress them more if you can say, oh, you just mentioned this, this, and that. I'm wondering, do you mean this, this, and that? Can you clarify a little more? I would like to learn more. So that means you're paying attention, yeah? And there's interaction. Is that a no? No, right? Ask questions. Oh, explain why you're a perfect fit. Okay, here's the thing. A lot of people are very good at, or they are told to say, how good I am, how good I am. Oh, I know this, I know that, I know this, I know that. But you know what? You need to think from the hiring manager's perspective. If the hiring manager, who cares how good you are? I just care if your skill set matches what I need. Are you solving problems for me? So I had an example, like if you go meet a guy is meeting a girl dating for the first time, and the guy told the girl, oh, I want to find a wife and working wife, the wife that works, that is working, that generates income. And you kept on telling the guy, look how pretty I am, look at my skin and everything. The guy care? No, he only cared, do you make money? Right? And but you are talking about how good you are, but who cares? So when you say how good you are, it has to be relevant to the job opening, all right? That you're solving their problem for them. So you need to put yourself in the shoes of interviewer and think about how your answer will be perceived. I'll give an example. This is real. So there was a kid who went to interview, and he was asked, what is your weakness? He answered, I have anger management issues. Wow. Wow. I'm sure he has many other weaknesses. Why do you pick that one? Right? That's very scary, right? So when you answer the question, you need to think about your answer, how your answer will be perceived by the other side. Just don't keep on bragging about self. It's me, 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 me. Please, them too, okay? Another thing, problem solving, don't panic. Okay, so a lot of times when we interview fresh grad, we don't expect them to know a lot, but we want to know if they are capable of solving problems. So if you can demonstrate how you solve the problem and your logic thinking, even though you don't get an answer completely right, that's okay. Yeah? And when I said don't panic, so many times you hear a question and you didn't quite understand the whole thing, and then you make up stories. That's bad. Or you're like, Don't panic, okay? If you're unsure about the question you heard, you can say, I'm sorry, I think your question was this, this, and that. Is that right? Can you please clarify? Or would you repeat the question again? I just want to make sure that I understand you perfectly before I give the answer. It's completely okay to repeat. And if you don't know how to solve that problem, don't give a 0. Ask for hint. You say, can you give me some hint to get started? I'm temporarily stuck, right? And I can tell you a story. In college, I took a computer science class. All I did was copy someone else's answer. Well, guess what? The professor got really mad. The whole class is doing that. So he only gave out a question, one question. If you know, you pass. If you don't, you die. Well, guess what? The whole class don't know what to do, except our number one who knows what to do. So she was the one who is writing up, and I get stuck for 10 minutes, well, guess what? I started writing too. And after we get out of the exam room, they're going, Ginger, come on, we know you didn't study. How do you know the answer, right? The girl who is really good, know the answer, we agree. She's ready, but what the heck are you writing? And I said, well, I changed the question. Do you know why? Because I leave it blank. What kind of score would I get? 0, right? So what I did was, I changed the question, I crossed out the question, I said, dear teacher, I don't know the answer to this question. But there's another question that I studied, similar to this one. And if you were to change that question, here's my answer. And guess what? The whole class, 2 people passed. Me and the girl. And the teacher said, you guys need to learn something from Ginger. When you leave it blank, even if I want to let you pass, I don't know how. I cannot do anything but give you a 0. But if you convince me you study, it's just unfortunately I didn't, study that particular piece. You show effort, right? So if you try, the chance is greater than equal to 0. If you don't try, it's 0. Okay? Partial credit, right? That's what I mean. Partial credit is better. I didn't get full score, but at least I don't have to retake it again. Next. Networking. Oh, finally, what time is it? Oh my God. Okay, this is the most important piece. Go. Next. Okay, what is networking? It's not about, hello Ginger, here's my business card. Can you give me a business card? Does that help anybody? Not really. Okay? It's about building a true relationship. And it has to be real and authentic. And it's not about, I want something from you. It's about, I want something from you, but I can also offer this. Right? Any relationship is mutual. Right? Getting married with a guy or girl, it doesn't matter in a relationship if you're the only one that's kept on taking and you're not giving. After a while, it's all very exhausting. The other side would run away. So I tell people, the most important thing for me to stay married with my husband for so long, we stick with each other, is because he adds so much value to my life. I couldn't think of a day without him. And so, I think he thinks the same way about me. I haven't checked. Right? So, you need to think about how you are adding value to each other. Then you don't have to worry about, is he seeing someone else? Is he seeing someone else? If you're adding a lot of value, he wouldn't leave you either, right? Okay, or she, doesn't matter. He and she's very confused. I don't know, it's Chinese. So, it's about growing together, right? Next. Okay, so there are 3 kind of networking targets. One is people you know, okay? And you do it, you are grooming for referral. So it's your coworker, your boss, your professor, classmates, friends, even family. Okay, I refer my brother-in-law and my nephew to many jobs, right? You can use that, especially internship. Relatives are useful. Okay, so just read it. Next, this is obvious. Next. Networking target number 2 is industry network. So it's like what you guys are doing here, okay? Networking with people in a similar industry, okay? And you go to all kinds of different events and stuff, okay? And you're networking with people in the industry, especially outside of your company. So you want to expand it. Next. Job hunting specific. So you're networking with people that, like hiring manager, recruiter, that you're searching for job, right? And so I want to emphasize, I will talk about how to do this work with recruiters. Okay, so this kind of networking is you see an opening and you saw the hiring manager and you want to reach out and so on. So this is networking targets, so about 3 targets. Next. So network preparation. Don't go to a networking event without prepping, okay? You really need to invest time into prepping and to create your own insight to share. Don't just go there and take. You want to give as well, okay? Remember, growing. Some people ask me, what kind of future daughter-in-laws do you have in mind, or what would you like them to do? I say, I want my son to find a partner who they will grow together and make each other a better person, not bringing each other down. And I don't want my son to marry a dependent. Okay, so it's somebody you help each other grow. And same thing with network. It has to be a win-win or win-win. It shouldn't be just taking. Otherwise, it's hard to sustain a relationship. Next. Okay, network using platform tools. So if you're using LinkedIn to network, make sure you do all the bullets. But I highlight the red. Be concise and explain yourself. What do you want and what you're focusing on. So don't, you know what? Those people who send me LinkedIn connection without telling me who they are, what they want, I simply don't even look. I just ignore. Those who send me a message and tell me why, then I will conditionally connect. Depends on whether it means what I need or not. So if you want to connect somebody, be sincere. Write something about yourself and why you want to connect. All right? Next. So I'm not selling for LinkedIn again, but I'm telling you LinkedIn Premium has a lot of good features there. And you only pay $40 a month, which is worthwhile. If you pay $40 a month, and even if you help you land at a job a month, you save a month, it's a lot of money compared to the $40 or I don't know how much a month. So I would strongly suggest look into, it's pretty useful. A lot of people told me they're useful and I'm part of it and I find it useful. Next. Okay, now this one is what I really want to talk about. Next is a case study. So I want to tell you a story. Recently, there's a kid who was referred to me. And I look at his resume, and I'm like, this resume needs improvement. So I set up a meeting with him. And before we even get started, he said, Ginger, my problem is not in my resume. My problem is I've got lots of interviews, and I'm not passing the interviews. Okay? And I said, okay, that's interesting. I said, how many interviews do you get? He said 3 a week. But he hasn't been passing the interviews. So he knew he has issues with interviewing. All right? So I said, okay, we can do mock interview. Let's get started. But you need to tell me, and I tell you background. The guy has a computer science degree from Taiwan, worked in Taiwan as a software engineer, came here to go to a university to get a master's degree. That university is not name brand university like a Harvard or MIT or something. It's just a regular university. And guess what happened? And he has no green card, right? He just got here. He got internship last year. I was so impressed when I was reading his resume. Wow, you got internship. And then that school is not like Stanford or Berkeley, okay? It's some school, I don't know, but it's a school. Then he graduated in May. And when I talked to him, it was in August. And in 3 months, he told me he got lots of interviews. He just ended up passing it, okay? So I said, okay, how about this? Let me strike a deal with you. I will definitely help you with mock interview. After you land at a job, you're gonna have to share with me how you get so many interviews so I can come share here at this forum. Okay? See, I have you guys in mind. And he said, sure, sure, sure. So I started mocking interview with him and I found out what his problem is right away. The guy was speaking like 120 miles an hour and speeding up to 30, 130 miles per hour. So fast, and it's slow, slow. I don't even know what you're talking about. Slow down. And then he went to all different directions trying to cover as much as he can. And I get bored. I said, time out, time out. You don't have focus. Can you please cut it short? Get to the point. Don't make me guess. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. And so he slowed down. Second question, he made the same mistake. Third question, same mistake. So each single time I told him, slow down, get to the point. And then fourth question, he got it. Fifth question, sixth question, he did wonderfully well. I say, okay, I think you're gonna be fine in the next interview. And that was a Friday or Thursday. I helped him in August. And then he had an interview Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. One is meeting VP, one is meeting hiring manager, one is meeting recruiter. And they're not interrupted, okay? But in the weekend I said, how did your interview go? I think it went really well and your trick really helped. When I slow down, I become less nervous, okay? And I said, well, let me know if you get an offer. 3 days later, he got an offer at PayPal. Wow. And they are applying sponsorship for him. Wow. All right? And he is like 26, right? No experience. So I go, okay, my turn. So he wrote a long document. I'm like, What is he writing? I said, okay, can we Zoom? Can you help me understand what the heck's going on? So we talked to him, and then I was in shock, and I said, so here are the things that I summarized in better English. But anyway, and I said, you are so new. How do you learn all the tricks? Oh, I learned it from my roommate. He's Indian. He has so many tricks. Go be good friends with Indians. They're good. And I go, wow, okay. And so he said he learned all that from his roommate. Okay, and I really think that Indian, so I'm going to share with our Asian here. And there are probably Indians here, but you're Asian too. Anyway, so the thing is, he connect with recruiters. Not necessarily, he said hiring managers have no time to handle him. So he said some of the recruiters are very nice. Okay, and number three, so this 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the steps you guys need to remember. The first thing he did is he looked at the job opening and find out who the recruiters are or is, and then he sent a connecting message. Okay, and with a summary of his self-instruction, request for connection. And then, but how about other positions? The same thing, doing the same thing. Okay, so you do that, and he said the recruiters that help him with the position also help him with other positions. When he couldn't make the current one, the recruiter said, hey, we have other positions. Do you want me to help you connect? They also want to hire. Recruiter, what? Their performance is based on how many good hires they make, right? So the recruiters help him connect with other recruiters for other openings, okay? And then once he get a response from the recruiter he sent connecting message to, the recruiter, then he would say, would you please refer me to this position? So he wrote another referral request, and look at the red. State the position you are interested at the beginning. So what he did was, I have examples, you have time, we'll get to it. The first thing he said is, I am looking for the SWE position in your company or whatever, right? And that's how he catch your attention. A lot of people start saying, my name is what, and they just forget it. But he used a very, first line is, I am looking for this position. And then he started going into details about what he's looking for. And then they said, okay, I can refer you. Send me your information so I can refer you. He wrote a referral as a third person, so the recruiter doesn't have to write a damn thing. You know, he just say, Gary is so and so and so, and he's really good at this, and he's really good at that, and I think he's a good thing, whatever. So the recruiter reads through it and says, okay, copy and paste, refer. He made the recruiter's life easy to refer him. Okay? And then he follow up. Okay? Don't forget about follow up. Then he'll follow up with the recruiters, what about the message, and so on and so forth. With this technique, he was able to line up a lot of interviews. All right? You can take a photograph, I don't mind, with this one. Not me. That one. Okay? I think this is very important. That's the key. I want to make sure I don't miss. Okay? Yeah? Next. Oh, are you guys done taking pictures? Yeah? This one is so important. I want to help you. Okay? Now. Yes. 5. 5 what? Oh, okay. It's not 5 seconds. Next. Okay. This is the last slide. Don't worry. Networking tips. Okay. So here is the networking tip. The leverage relationship with recruiters. That's what I just said. And then you have to understand the hiring process. So Google is general hire. So the recruiters cannot help you much. But some other companies, the different structure, they can help you more. So you understand the company's recruiting process. And stay connected. Things happen. Sometimes recruiter will swing for a position and get canceled. When you stay connected, they'll come back to you when they found other position. Yeah? So you're like, oh, okay, got canceled. Okay, you're no use. No, stay connected. Okay, so I'm done with the speech, and the Ginger is not useful anymore. You don't stay connected. Just kidding. Okay, next. It's very important. He said every interview, after the interview, he would ask the recruiter to give him feedback. A lot of hiring managers, they are unwilling to give feedback. For example, when I was hiring, I didn't want to give feedback because I felt like it's not fair to other people. And I want to find the best. So I usually don't respond. But recruiters, okay, if you find good recruiters, they'll give you your feedback. Okay? And what's the worst thing that can happen? They don't give you feedback. Right? You don't ask, 0. You ask, greater and equal to 0. Okay? You try. Visa sponsorship. You can go to LinkedIn and you can search for the B-Round startup. Usually B-Round startups and whatever, they can sponsor. Okay? So the information is on LinkedIn. You can go find the information. Next. Key takeaways. Next. So, layoffs. Okay? Job hunting. I just want to ask you to read through this. I don't want to read. You can read. Okay? So these are the key takeaways. So one thing about seminar, when you attend a seminar, in the seminar you're like, okay, I'm going to do what she said. And afterwards, you forget everything. And you don't practice it. Okay? So I ask everybody, whichever seminar you go to, pick one thing, adopt it, and practice it. Otherwise, you're wasting your time for the seminar. Yeah? Next. Next. Okay, this is an example of a referral request. They say, hey, I'm the whatever you're looking for. Hi, blah, blah, blah. I came across whatever before this, blah, blah, blah. Read through it. Okay, and don't copy the whole thing. It's just for you to refer to. Okay? It's just an example, okay? Next. An example of referral message, right? So you go, thanks for whatever, connecting and whatever. See, the third person self-introduction, right? And that's how he wrote it, so recruiter can copy and paste it and be done with. So that's what the secret sauce his Indian roommate shared. They really know how to work with recruiters, and they're not shy. And so let's not be shy. Next. Do I have more? Thanks. See? And if you have any questions you want to ask, feel free to go to room 201. I'll be there at 3:30 and on. Any questions goes. All right?